Okay, so this first virtual tech cafe is about logging into Schoology and how to fix some of the issues that have been popping up with logging in and out of our learning management system. So here we go. So I am Christine Jesse. I am Sydney City Schools classroom technology coach. I've been placed here through VARTech, and I have been kind of like the face of Schoology for the teachers here. So a lot of the questions that I've been addressing have come from them. And one of the things that they've brought up is that there's been seen to be a lot of more login issues. So we're going to try to address that here. So we're going to look at the difference between a student account and a parent account and why they need to be separate. Look at the Google accounts and the fact that it's really important for the student to be logged into their Sydney City Schools Google account, and how to troubleshoot and try to fix some of the issues that you might have trying to log in. So first of all, the student sign-in page. It is sydney.schoology.com. If you can't remember the website, it's also available in they have a little folder in the Chromebook that will allow them to click on a link to get directly to it. The link is also available on Sydney City Schools webpage on the left side underneath the quick links. The difference between a student sign-in page and the parent sign-in page are a couple key things. First of all, the student sign-in page is always going to have this little bar right here that says Sydney City Schools District, Sydney, Ohio. That means that's going to log them into that domain. Parents can't log into this. It will block them. It will say incorrect username or password. Even though that's not really the case, it's just saying you can't log into this domain this way. So a student sign-in page will look like this. A parent sign-in page will look a little different. This is at Schoology.com for their login page, and they have email or username along with password and login button. And it looks like it has a little QR code, but we're not going to use that currently. So we don't have that Sydney City School District, Sydney, Ohio down here at the bottom. So this is how you can tell at the beginning the difference between a parent sign-in page and a student sign-in page. Students have to use the student sign-in page, parents have to use the parent sign-in page. We can't intermingle the two because otherwise you're not going to get anywhere. So if you do not have a parent account yet and you need to still sign up for one, you're still going to go to Schoology.com and you are going to fill it out as you kind of see here. Your first name, last name, and an email. So for example, we have Helen Parr here, the mother of Jack Parr, at elastigirl31@gmail.com. And so she has created her username, her passwords here, and she's clicked to check that she understands the terms of use and registered. Part of this is also making sure you have an access code. That's what this access code is up here. You can get that from your child's teacher, or if you have trouble getting access to this, feel free to email Schoology Help and we will try to help you out with that. So here's why it's important. Students need to be logged into their account in order to complete schoolwork. If they don't, they will not be able to access the conference app in order to be able to communicate with their teacher and their classmates. They will not be able to submit assignments, and we all know what kind of grades that leads to. And they cannot comment or like on updates. It also prevents them from participating in class discussion boards. You can view your student's class as a parent and you can go through and look into their assignments and everything, but you can't get into their conferences, you can't get into their messages, and you cannot submit any assignments for them. That has to be on the students. They have to log into their own account. You can help them log in, but make sure they're the ones who it's their account where you're doing the work. So let's say you're logged in and you can't tell whether or not it is a parent account or a student account. So here we have Jack Parr and Helen Parr. And first thing you're going to want to look at is up in the right-hand corner of the Schoology screen. You'll have your little emblem here, typically a picture, and then you'll have the first and last name. Now, if you happen to share the same name with your child, like, we have Darius Rucker the third, you're going to want to check a couple other things. So if we click in on our name here and use the drop down menu, students have only three things. They'll have the profile, the school, in settings, and of course, log out. If it is a parent account, that drop-down menu changes drastically. Not only do we have Helen, we now also have Jack here, and we have the option to add another child. And if you need to add another child, you can, but for right now, we're just talking about the differences between the two. All the rest of these are the same as the students, but if you have these, that means you are logged into the parent account and not the student account. So when the student is accessing things through their account, this is what, whoops, too far. This is what their conference app looks like. It will have the listed conference here as the title, start time and date, and end time and date. When the conference is going, it will appear as a blue link that the student will be able to click and be able to get into. If you are trying to access this as a parent, however, you are going to get this little block here that says private access only. When you see this, this should be a key sign that you are not in the correct account. Not to mention, you have this thing up here that says you are viewing as your student, in this case, Jack Parr. So if a parent is trying to access conferences and they don't understand why conferences isn't working, it's because you're not the student. So error messages. There are different error messages that you can get as you're logging in, kind of like the private access part for the conference app. So whenever you get an error message like this, such as unrecognized username or password, don't panic. There are a few things you're going to want to check before you do anything else. You want to first see if you're using Google Chrome, which I highly emphasize on using, or Firefox. Those two work the best with Schoology and with Big Blue Button, our conference app. Check your username and password. Make sure it's spelled correctly. You are using capital letters where capital letters are needed, and the punctuation is where it's needed as well. Make sure you're also on the correct sign-in page. Remember, a parent page and a student page are two different things. If you are trying to sign in on the student page as a parent, you will not be able to get in, and it will give you an unrecognized username or password. You can also try to clear your browsing history and cookies. There is a helpful video for that on Sydney City Schools website, posted by me, that will walk you through on how to clear your browsing history and your cookies to be able to clear up some space on your internet browser. If all these things still do not work and you still cannot get in and you cannot figure it out, you can either contact the child's teacher or you can contact us at Schoology Help. So we have schoology.help at sydneycityschools.org. Please be patient while we are trying to work out some bugs with the login system. Sometimes if it's not a issue that you are having with, spelling the username or the password or anything like that, it might be an issue with Schoology. Schoology is currently experiencing a major inflow of users this year, and this is pushing their servers to the limit, and we may experience login interruptions. If we do experience service interruptions, we'll try to get that information out to you as soon as possible. Otherwise, please just try again until you can get in. Jill, do you have anything to add?
I think one thing I might add is on student Chromebooks, if you have a school Chromebook and the students are logging in with their school account, you can get to the student login page also by going to Sydney School Sites and then dropping down, and the bottom one is Schoology. And that will take you directly to the student login page. And if you experience, you're typing everything in, you've checked everything Christine has just shared, keep trying. I have seen it take up to 3 or 4 times. And sometimes a refresh of the login page will help. And for the password structure for students, something I've also experienced is thinking that a lowercase l is a capital I. So that password structure for kiddos is the first 2 letters of their first name, the first 2 letters of their last name, and then their lunch number, and that pound sign. So if you continue to experience issues with that password, look at it and make sure you're using the correct letter. I think other than that, I think you've covered it all.
All right. Well, that's it for us for today. Have a good night.